Hello, hi, and assalamu alaikum. Today we're going to discuss chapter 7 of The Reluctant Fundamentalist. I believe this chapter is important for interviews um, and it has a lot to deal with the thematic concerns of this novel. Changez is talking about his stay in America after the 9/11, and he tells him that while living in New York, uh, he noticed rapid changes in America, um, but he did not notice that his own career and his relationship with others were about to end. Changez worries about his family in Lahore, um, and he also believes that the United States will not attack the Pakistani Taliban. But he ignores the stories he hears in the cafe about Pakistani cab drivers who are being assaulted and the FBI raiding Pakistani homes, shops, and mosques, right? So, this America's treatment of the Pakistanis is something that is of great concern, but Changez, he tries to convince himself that these are just rumors and are just exaggerations, and he believes that he is too American to be targeted for such treatment. He thinks that these abuses might not affect him because he is a Princeton graduate and he's earning $80,000 a year. Okay. Um, and at Underwood Sampson, Jim, who is still impressed with Changez, uh, assigns him a new project in New Jersey. Changez starts his work and he tries wholeheartedly to identify himself as the um, American, a hardworking American. Changez's job is to, like, there is a line, determine how much fat could be cut. Clear? How much fat could be cut. Um, like, in other words, it means to downsize the company by firing employees, right? So there are some furious workers and they react to it. Jim, however, um, advises Changez not to worry because things always change. Okay. Then there is a comparison between Pakistan and America that Jim's actually makes. Jim tells Changez that they both come from places that are in decline and that to be successful, people uh, have to accept change instead of resisting it. Changez agrees with much of what Jim tells him about the two countries, but he finds it impossible to accept that Pakistan is a country in permanent decline. Um, Okay. Chengez focuses on his growing financial assets and his promising future. Like he's a bit self-centered, um, and he overlooks or ignores the uh, destroying the lives of older men who deserve respect because they are to be fired. Um, Chengez thinks that in one in on one hand he is thinking about himself, but on the other hand he also feels for the old people, the old employees. um, he thinks that many people who will be fired at the company in New Jersey, they are middle aged and they are old people, and he believes that they cannot afford to be fired. And when he tells it to his friend Van Wright, um, he jokes that Chengez works for the man. Chengez works for the man, clear? But he then acknowledges the problem too, right? Uh, Chengez still argues with him, but when Wright tells him that Underwood Sampson would make the same business decisions, whether Chengez worked there or not, and he encourages him to focus on his job and do whatever he is directed to. Okay. Then America, in the mid October 2001, uh, begins bombing Afghanistan. Changez cannot actually watch the news because the war between Afghanistan and America is depicted as an unequal sport event. Like America has modern weapons, advanced technology, and she's crushing the ill-equipped and ill-fed Afghan tribesmen, right? And when he actually watches that raid on the Taliban, Changez feels a sudden attachment with the Afghan Muslims and uh, those who are neighbors of Pakistan. The war actually makes Changez furious, and Changez is feeling angry, and he like this anger makes it difficult for him to concentrate on his work. Changez meets Erica in a bar, and he's shocked at her diminished look. Uh, Erica tells him that she hasn't felt so sick since Chris' death. Um, she's also on medication, but that medication also doesn't make her feel any better, and she tells him that she constantly thinks dark thoughts about Chris, Chengez, and about her novel, right? Um, Chengez feels extremely sad about it, about Erica, and then he convinces Erica to come home with him. They go to bed together, um, and they start having sex. Um, Erica is not responsive while they're having sex, and Chengez then initiates a turning point in his life when he tells Erica to pretend that he's Chris. So he then becomes Chris for Erica. Um, so when they are having sex, Changez uh, like feels as if he has been transported into a world where he doesn't exist. And after having sex, Erica tells him that he's a kind person. Chengez is like he feels satisfied, but he's also ashamed. He is both satiated and ashamed, are the exact words in the novel, right? He thinks that he has diminished himself by taking on the persona of another guy, and he also feels humiliated um, for embodying his dead rival. The American who is sitting with him, he looks at Chengez with disgust, and the chapter comes to its end, right?